Good morning, I'm Maiki Oreta and you're watching Business 360, where we break down the numbers, connect the dots, and give you the developments and the insights you need to navigate, adapt, and lead. Let's dive right in. The headlines. President Bongbong Marcos doubles down on incentives to supercharge the Philippines' semiconductor industry. Could this be a game changer for tech investments? A dramatic turn in the Red Sea hostage crisis. Yemen's Houthi rebels finally released the Galaxy leader's crew, including more than a dozen Filipinos. Greenland is not for sale. A Danish politician fires back at U.S. President Donald Trump's push to claim the territory. Trump issues a new warning. Sanctions on Russia loom if it refuses to negotiate an end to the war in Ukraine. First, let's check how the financial markets fared overnight. Wall Street climbed Wednesday as investors cheered Netflix's strong quarterly report. Tech stocks also rallied after President Donald Trump unveiled a private sector AI infrastructure plan.
Yeah, we think stocks are continuing this post-inauguration bounce over the last couple of days. It seems like the appetite for risk assets seems to be back in place. We've also had some good earnings to support that. That started last week with banks and the financial institutions.
The S&P 500 added 0.6%, the Nasdaq surged 1.28%, and the Dow Jones Industrial Average edged up by 0.3%. Now, European markets ended in the green. The FTSE 100 over in the UK up unchanged with a positive bias. DAX's index up by 1%, and France's CAC 40 higher by 0.9%. Here at home, President Bongbong Marcos wants more incentives for the semiconductor industry, a move that could strengthen the country's position in the global tech supply chain. Latest data from the Philippine Statistics Authority shows semiconductor exports dropped 33.1 to 1.91 billion in November as global demand slowed. During a meeting with the Private Sector Advisory Council, Education and Job Sector Group, Marcos emphasized that semiconductors make up a huge portion of the country's exports and support thousands of jobs. This push for incentives could attract more foreign investments, keep the sector competitive, and create new opportunities for manufacturers and suppliers. A top World Economic Forum official is calling for global cooperation to maximize the benefits of new technologies while managing the risks that come with them. Miek Dusek-Wef, the WEF managing director, says the organization is monitoring two major forces that will shape the future of the global economy.
We're tracking two big forces that we believe are changing the world economy. On one hand, we are living through quite a unique time in terms of technological advancement and innovation. But on the other hand, of course, we are also tracking forces of fragmentation. We are seeing more competitive geopolitical landscape, shifting value chains and supply chains, and of course also social polarization in certain societies around the world.
Dusek also underscored China's critical role in global economic growth and tech innovation, calling it a key player in shaping a tech-driven future. This signals a need to embrace digital transformation and stay ahead in a world where technology is rapidly reshaping industries and markets. Now, with just 4 months until the midterm elections, authorities arrest a Malaysian national allegedly supplying a text scam device that could be used for vote manipulation or election-related fraud. With digital misinformation and election security becoming major concerns, this arrest raises questions about the safeguards in place to protect the integrity of the upcoming polls. Francis Folde has the details.
A Malaysian national believed to be a supplier of the International Mobile Subscriber Identity or IMSI catcher devices was arrested Tuesday. In an operation by the PNP Anti-Cybercrime Group, the Cybercrime Investigation and Coordinating Center, the Bureau of Immigration, and the National Telecommunications Commission.
Ang operation po nagsimula po sa proactive na cyber patrolling ng PNP Anti-Cybercrime Group and also po Nakita po natin itong suspect na nagpo-post po siya ng advertisement online sa isang social media platform or sa Facebook page na nagbebenta po siya ng text blast machine with IMSI catcher built-in.
The device is valued at approximately 600,000 pesos. Investigators discovered the suspect had been frequently traveling between the Philippines, Thailand, and China. According to CICC Executive Director Yusek Alexander Ramos, the equipment is capable of intercepting and sending text messages to mobile phones within its range.
Ito ho, mobile, magkakasya sa backpack. So, makabagong technology to, ang kanilang in-introduce sa atin. Once it is tested or up and running, ino-overcome niya yung signal ng mga cell sites. Kaya nakakapag-efficiently broadcast siya within his range. I think, nung nag-testing kami, 100 meters, lahat ng cellphones na masagap niya will receive the same message.
DICT Secretary Ivan Uy further explained that these devices are commonly used for text scams.
Dati kasi kinakarga yan sa sasakyan at umiikot sa mga public places. Normally, where a lot of people gather. Ngayon, medyo nag-improve yung technology nila. Nagkarga na sa backpack. So, pwede na silang pumasok sa malls, pumasok sa mga buildings upang gamitin itong device na ito. Once na nakuha yung numbers, pwede nilang padalhan ngayon ng text na nagyayaya na mag-invest or padala kayo ng text na si telco sila, Globe, Smart, or Dito, or Bangko, at sasabihin sa inyo na, hindi updated yung SIM card registration nyo. Kailangan mag-click kayo nitong link na ito para pumunta kayo at hihingin yung lahat ng detalye nyo.
The DICT refers to these illegal operations as post-FOGO, after scammers shifted to guerrilla-style tactics following government's crackdown on POGO hubs. Beyond small-scale POGO activities, officials warn this technology could also be used in the upcoming midterm elections in May. These devices could be used to send mass propaganda messages, either promoting or attacking political candidates. For politicians, it can provide huge advantage as they can reach a wider audience instantly.
We would like to remind to mga candidates that these equipment are illegal, they are not licensed, they are subject to confiscation and criminal prosecution if you possess these devices.
For ordinary cell phone users, a weaker signal, such as a sudden drop from LTE or 5G to 2G, is a possible sign that an IMSI catcher is active in the area. This is when scam text messages start appearing. The Malaysian national has already undergone inquest proceedings and remains in PNP ACG custody, facing charges for violating the SIM Registration Act and the Data Privacy Act. Francis Polbe, Bilyonaryo News Channel.
A major breakthrough in the Red Sea hostage crisis. Yemen's Houthi rebels released the crew of the Galaxy leader after more than a year in captivity, including more than a dozen Filipinos. The 25 crew members from Bulgaria, Ukraine, the Philippines, Mexico, and Romania were handed over to Oman in a deal mediated by regional diplomats. The release comes amid a fragile three-day ceasefire in the Gaza war between Israel and Hamas, temporarily easing tensions in the region. President Bongbong Marcos thanked the Sultan of Oman and his government for negotiating the crew's freedom. He also recognized Philippine agencies and private sector partners who worked with foreign diplomats to bring the Filipino seafarers home safely. The Galaxy leader, a commercial vessel, was seized by Houthi rebels off the Yemeni Red Sea coast over a year ago in what rebels claimed was a show of solidarity with Palestinians in Gaza amid the escalating conflict. For the Philippines, this reaffirms the crucial role of diplomacy in protecting overseas workers, especially seafarers who remain vulnerable in global conflict zones. It also highlights the need for stronger international maritime security to safeguard commercial shipping lanes. Good news for consumers, a new e-wallet hits the market, promising fraud-free transactions and stronger security features. Sujin Kim has the details.
Blockchain security is now the frontline defense against online and digital fraud. Launched yesterday, the newest e-wallet Ditaka guaranteed tamper and fraud-free transactions. As the country's first blockchain-powered e-wallet, it provides cutting-edge protection against fraud and data breaches. With its decentralized blockchain system, every transaction is immutable, providing a stronger shield against hacking and manipulation. The decentralized data storage makes cyber attacks significantly harder to execute.
Blockchain in itself is, the main features is verification, right? Meaning you cannot, quote unquote, cheat on the blockchain because everything is recorded, right? So that's important for safety reasons, important for security, and most importantly, it's the benefits to the customer, right? To both either individuals or businesses.
Beyond security, Ditaka enables users to pay, send, and receive money at lower charges, thanks to reduced operating costs enabled by blockchain technology.
Blockchain makes accessibility even on the forefront.
When we say lower fees, it's going to be significantly lower. We believe that we need to democratize the fees that users are paying for in transferring money to one another and to other banks.
The platform provides 24/7 customer support and a tokenized reward system that gives points for every transaction. With its launch, Ditaka expects to attract 500,000 users in the first year, expanding to 5 to 8 million users within 5 years. They also aim to reduce remittance costs from 6% to the United Nations SDG target of 3%, a major relief for overseas Filipino workers and entrepreneurs.
We are creating an ecosystem, a platform, where we envision more Filipinos coming into the digital space and financial inclusion through our services and offering the services to bigger players. We're not here to compete with them directly, but perhaps offer a different approach.
The strategic partnership leverages Huawei's global reach and Ditaka's robust e-wallet platform, positioning to redefine the digital finance landscape. Aligned with Ditaka's mission of improving lives through user-centric technology, this collaboration empowers individuals and businesses with simplified access to innovative e-wallet.
Sujin Kim, Bilyonaryo News Channel.
We're taking a quick break. Please stay with us as we dive deep into the numbers and the narratives that matter most to your bottom line.
The latest news, national issues,
with regard to was very vocal about charter change,
the political scene, the trust and approval ratings of President Bongbong Marcos and Vice President Sara Duterte decline, and conversations with prominent personalities.
Brings back wonderful memories of past Christmases when I was a little boy in Iloilo.
Be timely informed, be insightful of the news. All these firsthand at the forefront.
At BNC, 12 noon doesn't mean break. We're always ready to give you the latest news. Join Maya Rodriguez, delivering fresh news for you.
Price of diesel will increase by $1.45 per liter. Field of flowers cover the square in front of St. John Church.
Vendors we spoke to here in La Loma say sales are up this year.
News feed at noon, only here on BNC.
My daughter's back in LA at the moment, and we're getting these texts saying, what do I pack? have you got anything that is really precious that you want me to pack? And I'm like, you and the dogs, that's it. Anything, you know.
We're all affected, and that our friends and our friends' animals and our friends' homes, and it's just a horrible time.
Measures have to be taken in the future to avoid this sort of thing. My heart goes out to everyone being affected. I'm in West Hollywood, so I'm a distance away from Palisades, but tragic.
Welcome back. Let's take a look at how markets in Asia are doing this Thursday morning. Taking a look at the Nikkei 225, that's up by 0.4%. Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index higher by 0.5%. Shanghai Composite up by 1.4%. And the Straits Times Index over in Singapore higher by 0.4%. Now let's take a look at how Philippine shares are doing right now, as trading just opened some time ago. As of 10:16 this morning, the PSE index is bucking the uptrend in the region, down by 0.3% to 63.31. Risk aversion is evident amidst a global, an evolving global economic landscape. The PSE index is in the red, as with the all shares index. Down by 0.2% to 36.90. Taking a look at the sub-indices, the financials, industrial, services, and property counters are in the red, while the holding firms and mining and oil counters are bucking the market's current downtrend. Meanwhile, at the foreign exchange market, the peso opens weaker at 58.54 against the greenback. This against its previous close of 58.51. Now, health advocates and various groups are sounding the alarm over a proposal in the House of Representatives to suspend the annual tax hike on tobacco products, warning that it could deal a major blow to public health efforts. They stress that one Filipino dies every 6 minutes due to smoking, making tobacco taxes a crucial tool in discouraging use. Agatha Gregorio has that story.
Some groups and senators were alarmed over the increase in smoking prevalence in the country these past few years. And so some health experts and advocacy groups recommend raising taxes.
Further increase in taxation of sin products that include standard tobacco products and electronic smoking devices. Effective taxation has been shown to effectively reduce tobacco use. Furthermore, we recommend to make taxes on electronic smoking devices unitary and increases to rates equal to tobacco products, since electronic smoking devices is equally harmful as smoking tobacco products.
According to data from the DOST Food and Nutrition Research Institute, smoking status of adults 20 years old and up were on a downward trend from 2003 until 2021. But it went up to 23% in 2023 from 18% in 2021. Senator Win Gatchalian says among his recommendations is the increase of taxes on heated tobacco products and e-cigarettes. But over at the House of Representatives, a bill was filed to suspend the annual increase of 5% for taxes on tobacco and vapor products.
There are proposals from the lower house that use the data on illicit trade to justify actually calling for a decrease in the tax rates on cigarettes. We found that, in fact, if we decrease tobacco taxes, it will result in higher consumption of cigarettes as well as greater profit and greater revenue for the tobacco industry. But on the other side, in the next slide, we found that it will lose the government foregone revenue worth 27.5 billion pesos.
The Southeast Asia Tobacco Control Alliance cited numbers from the World Customs Organization. They say around 70% of the global illicit tobacco market is from companies themselves who sell products in the black market.
It would therefore not be a surprise if tobacco companies were driving illicit trade in the Philippines. Many of us still remember, as mentioned earlier, that in 2018, Mighty Corporation paid the government 30 billion pesos to settle its case of tax evasion.
On Bilyonaryo News Channel's On Point, Syntax Coalition convener Dr. Tony Dan said border controls and tracking would prevent smuggling, not a tax reduction.
Ang layo-layo ng price ng smuggled illicit cigarettes from the legal cigarettes. Even if you lower it and cancel the 5% increment every year, that's not enough.
Disparity.
Oh, hindi hihinto ang smuggling. If you want to stop smuggling, you control the border.
Dance also clarified the Syntax law is a health measure first and not a revenue generator, noting every year that more than 700 billion pesos is spent treating smoking-related illnesses, while government only earned over 130 billion in 2023. Dr. Dance also could not stress enough the danger House Bill 11297 poses to the public.
Every 6 minutes, one Filipino dies because of tobacco.
Is that so?
And they're going to increase that by lowering the tax and increasing the number of smokers. And how long have we been talking, right?
Yeah.
If we talk for 30 minutes, 5 Filipinos have died in the short time that we talk because of tobacco.
Agatha Gregorio, Bilyonaryo News Channel.
Jacob Ang, son of Bilyonaryo Ramon Ang, is shifting gears and zeroing in on the motoring business of San Miguel Corporation. At BMW's first event of the year, he unveiled the luxury brand's latest hybrid model in the Philippines, the X5. Our mobility correspondent G. Baroga takes a closer look.
BMW kicks off the year with a bang, unveiling the X5 plug-in hybrid. This also adds the third powertrain option to their lineup, joining the traditional internal combustion engine and fully electric models. A year and a half into his role at the family business, Jacob Ang is making his mark in the local luxury automotive scene. He doesn't just sit on the board, he's also a true enthusiast behind the wheel. During the unveiling of the X5 PHEV, he shares his thought on the vehicle's performance after testing on local roads for the last 3 months.
It's a really good car. It's pretty fast, 487 horsepower, 700 torque. I've had tests with it on the straight with comparably like a 992 GT3 RS. We were the same, but that's with it on the sport mode and 2 levels down. But I think the best highlight of this car would be the air suspensions, and when you leave it on the hybrid mode, it's seamless. You have 100 kilometers of electrified range, and I could attest to that because I use it every day.
While the X5 delivers strong performance in sport mode, Jacob highlighted its capabilities when running entirely on electricity.
It's really quiet, it's good for city driving. 100 kilometers is actually through. You don't get any problems. You wouldn't even want to switch on the engine, honestly, because of the traffic.
During the vehicle's unveiling, BMW hinted that the X5 is just the first of several hybrid models to be introduced in the Philippines, depending on market demand.
You will not be disappointed, and our customers will not be disappointed with the product proposition, with the performance that we have now. Of course, walang coding.
BMW is betting on the X5 PHEV to steer sales higher this year as demand for EV, which it first introduced last year, has been on the rise. The BMW X5 PHEV retails at 6,990,000 pesos. For BNC Mobility, G. Baroga.
We're taking a quick break. Business 360 will be right back.
Magandang gabi, ako si Corina Sanchez Rojas. Magandang gabi, ako po si Pinky Webb. Simulan na natin ang agenda.
Nasa radyo na, mapapanood, mapapakinggan.
94.7 FM. Nahaharap ngayon ang Estados Unidos sa isa na namang 4 na taong Trump presidency.
Death squad rin yan. Binawi niya yung sinabi niya.
Ing masalimuot ang buwan ng Oktubre para sa ilang bilyonaryo. Sa bawat issue may anggulo at ang balita may agenda.
Welcome back. U.S. President Donald Trump warns that new sanctions on Russia could be on the way if President Vladimir Putin refuses to negotiate an end to the war in Ukraine. While Trump did not reveal specifics about possible new sanctions, the U.S. has already hit Russia with heavy penalties since its invasion of Ukraine in February of 2022. He also said that his administration is reviewing military aid to Ukraine and took a swipe at the European Union, saying it should be doing more to help Kiev.
You've called for a ceasefire in Ukraine. If Vladimir Putin doesn't come to the table to negotiate with you, will you put additional sanctions on Russia?
Sounds likely.
Danish politician Anders Vistisen lashes out at U.S. President Donald Trump over his push to control Greenland, but his choice of words gets him reprimanded in the European Parliament. During a session in Strasbourg on Tuesday, Vistisen criticized Trump's ongoing interest in making Greenland an autonomous Danish territory, a part of the U.S. since his re-election in November. But his comments are cut short after he uses profane language.
Dear President Trump, listen very carefully. Greenland has been part of the Danish kingdom for 800 years. It's an integrated part of our country. It is not for sale. Let me put it in words you might understand, Mr. Trump.
China warns that no one wins in a trade war as it pushes back against a new U.S. tariff threat that could impact global trade. Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson responded to U.S. President Donald Trump's plan to impose a 10% tariff on Chinese imports. Trump claims the move aims to punish China for allegedly sending fentanyl to the U.S. through Mexico and Canada. But China denies the claim, saying it will stand its ground and protect its economy. This acceleration adds new uncertainty to U.S.-China trade relations, which could disrupt supply chains, impact global markets, and raise costs for businesses dependent on Chinese manufacturing. On another front, Prince Harry wins a landmark legal battle against Rupert Murdoch's British newspaper group, a decision that could have wider implications for media and accountability and corporate liability. The publisher settled his lawsuit, admitting for the first time to unlawful actions at the Sun tabloid and paying substantial damages. Harry sued News Group newspapers, accusing them of illegally obtaining private information from 1996 to 2011. NGN also admitted to intruding on Princess Diana's private life. A source says that the settlement runs into 8 figures. Beyond royal drama, this case could pressure media giants to reform data practices. And that's it for Business 360. I'm Maiki Oreta. Keep it here on BNC, the Bilyonaryo News Channel.